historically bring to the table when we talk about cleaning up the country?
You know, so far the sanitation has been a duty of Dalits alone. Unless we make the occupation of cleaning caste neutral, India can never become clean. Let me give you an example. Why are private hospitals cleaner than government hospitals? Why is Sula Shauchalaya cleaner than the toilets set up by government of India? So unless you see Jamshedpur city, Tata Steel city, it has no municipality. It is run by a company of Tata. And it's the cleanest city in the country.
Okay, so in fact, you made the point. Mr. Pathak is one such pioneer, in fact, in sort of collapsing the caste hierarchy around sanitation. Abhishek Singhvi, I want to come to you and ask you a question. I mean, not about the politics per se of this, but a lot of people have talked about the Congress also, and every successive government. In fact, Prime Minister Modi also said every successive government has talked about cleaning up India in one way or the other. But in a sense, what they're saying that he's done with this campaign is separate two UPA systems that had actually come together, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme as well as the Nirmal Bharat Abhiyan as well, because while sort of having been combined, they were not being able to achieve the kind of task that they were doing. The money that was meant to set up toilets, for example, across the country could not be used because you had to show them as wages. 60% had to go in wages to employees of the MNREGA scheme.
2 or 3 quick points. I don't at all want to sound political, and I have not yet made political comments, and I don't intend to make them. As I said, the concept is unexceptionable.
Right.
Equally, it must be recognized, and to the extent the Prime Minister and the government recognize it, it is building on very well established initiatives, though I must concede that none of those initiatives were inaugurated with the fanfare or the optics which Mr. Modi is doing. But they are there. The schemes are there in the Ministry of Rural Development. Many times the then Minister Mr. Ramesh has spoken about them, and the schemes of course can be tweaked. We are all happy to tweak them and to enlarge or reduce them and to focus them and to tailor them. Okay. But the concept has been very much there. It's also been implemented. Third point I want to make is that, you know, there is a larger issue behind, and I'm not at all detracting from the Swachh Bharat campaign, because I've said what I would really like is, along with this great slogan and the optics, a very specific blueprint, and that I find missing. The point I made earlier: how will you get this 2 lakh crores? How many incinerators in major cities? How many the density of garbage dumps per square kilometer or per density of population?
All right.
These kind of specifics, even if laid out in the blueprint. One more point, very quickly.
Yes, sir.
Gandhi point is important as a more abstract point. Now, you know, it's very good to appropriate Gandhi, because Gandhi is 99% good, so you are appropriating good, but you can't be too selective in appropriating Gandhi. Gandhi, cleanliness, is a very narrow aspect of holistic Gandhi. Gandhi is about so many other things, so you should not just pick out that which suits you politically, ideologically, mentally. So there is, as somebody has said earlier, the Gandhi concept itself is inclusiveness, is intercommunal harmony.
Right.
It is having a great amount of tolerance for everybody, etc.
Right. Okay, before I go back to Mr. Kulkarni, in fact, Samit Patra, I want you to come in very, very quickly on what Abhishek Singhvi said, that ultimately nobody is questioning and nobody is criticizing any campaign today. We're merely seeking, in a sense, a blueprint on how this is going to go forward. And I'll give you an example of something I encountered today. A Residents Welfare Association in South Delhi issued a circular to all its residents about their pet animals, saying that they either clean up after those pets, which is a valid point for all pet owners, or they take those pets outside the neighborhood so that the pets can relieve themselves outside the colony. And the mindset is also about this, that whatever is within my environment is fine as long as it's outside. You can mess up your neighbor's backyard, but you can't mess up mine. That's one aspect of it. And the second is, you've said what's well begun is half done. But well begun really is the optics of what we've seen today as well. It's a great thing that I think most people are completely bowled over by the fact that the Prime Minister picked up a broom and every senior minister has picked up a broom and swept the streets. But there's a vast amount of money that has to go into these schemes. What's the blueprint for that?
Maya, first and foremost, I mean, look over here, two things are emerging. Most of the people over here in the panel are accusing of the fact that there is a lot of optics and rhetorics attached to the cleanliness mission.
I don't think it's
my
an accusation.
My answer to it is optic.
It's not an accusation.
Let me clarify.
Yeah.
I understand. I get the question. I can understand what the other people have been saying. And my answer to what Mr. Abhishek Manu said about optics would be, optics are very essential in this whole case. Because as I said previously also, more than legislation, it is the awareness which is very essential as far as cleanliness drive is concerned. And I tell you one thing, Maya, today, the picture that you have been flashing on your channel, Mr. Narendra Modi with a broom cleaning the Mandir Marg police station, take my words, would be one of the epitome pictures, would be one of the most seen video in the years to come. It would send a great deal of it would in fact have a great deal of mark across the country, which would propel number of youngsters. Maya, if you would allow me the equal amount of time that you allowed, if you would allow me the equal amount of time that you allowed to Congress, I would surely take point by point and I will allow you answer also. As I said initially, it is just the baby step that we have taken in the right direction. So naturally the blueprint, the amount of money that was spelled out, 20 lakh per panchayat, would in the course of time gradually be in front of you as to how we are doing that, what we are doing. For instance, Mr. Narendra Modi, not today, but umpteen number of times has spoken about the importance of toilet. Even today he said that the corporate social responsibility would be brought into the fore to see to it that the corporates also take part in this whole cleanliness drive, construct toilets and see to it that they are incorporated in this vision of Mahatma Gandhi also. So it is a holistic approach, remember. And second important thing that I have heard oft in the panel and otherwise also, that in fact Mahatma Gandhi is about a number of things. Well, yes, he is. He is about ahimsa, he is about cleanliness, he is about number of other issues. But remember, if the Prime Minister starts clinging on to every other issue, then the very moot cause of cleanliness would be lost in the diluted version of his addressing. And today he wants to keep the whole issue undiluted. He wants the whole issue to be focused on cleanliness alone. For instance, if he starts speaking about harmony between Hindus and Muslims today, if he starts speaking about, say, other aspects of Mahatma Gandhi, then we would not be having a debate on cleanliness. We would be having a debate on communalism and secularism.
Okay, Sambit Patra, you've made your point. Sudhindra Kulkarni, come in and respond to what Sambit Patra is saying, that in a sense, if you talk about tackle all the aspects of Mahatma Gandhi, you're diluting this one key cause. But also, I think, obviously, trying to obfuscate in the sense that there's no question that the optics of such a policy scheme announcement are going to energize, are going to channelize some kind of public response as well. I don't think anyone's questioning that, but it's how do you go beyond this?
I want to first remove the misconception about something that I said earlier. Sambit Patra ji, I did not say that the Prime Minister has said that the Sarkar ne theka liya hai. In fact, I complimented the Prime Minister for saying that the Sarkar ne theka nahi liya hai.
Right.
Ye jo kaam hai, it has to be done by the government and the people together. This is the Prime Minister call which has to be truly appreciated, and I appreciate it. But having said this, I want to make one thing clear. We know the problem. What is the solution? Let's be very clear that citizen action alone is not going to make India clean. Citizen action is extremely important. Our mindset has to change, but there are two other extremely important determinants. One is policy, the other is governance. Take for example that urban India even today is not segregating waste, dry waste, wet waste and recycling them. As a result, we are dumping all the waste on bigger and bigger landfills which have become hazards to health, and in any case there is no space for creating landfills anymore. So if Swachh Bharat has to succeed, there must be a very strong policy decision that India is going to recycle maximum amount of waste. And the example must be set by Rashtrapati Bhavan and the Prime Minister's house. Will Rashtrapati Bhavan and Prime Minister's house become zero garbage? Which means that no garbage will go out of these places. Everything has to be recycled.
Right.
You know, Sweden recycles 99% of its waste. European Union has set a target of at least 50% recycling by 2020. This is the Coming to governance, I want to make one more thing clear. It's not just cleanliness. Sanitation is even more important. Sanitation for the poor. You know, I'm speaking from Mumbai. Do you know that in slums of Mumbai, 78% of the slum toilets do not have water. 58% of slum toilets do not have electricity. This is the stark reality.
It is about
it can only be corrected by strong, good governance.
Right. It is about a holistic
not just citizen
approach.
Action.
Right. Okay. Dr. Prasad, you want to come in on this? Yeah, very quick.
In a hype-like situation like this, region loses space. I would like to know in which countries citizens are expected to clean garbage. Citizens are expected not to litter. It is the duty of government and private agencies to clean the societies. So from the beginning, if we take a wrong direction, then after 10 years we are going to say that, you know, we failed. So wow, it's just
okay. That's a very important point. In fact, Mr. Pathak, I want to bring you in on this as well. Mr. Prasad making this point that it is a citizen's responsibility to do his or her best to keep the environment clean, to not litter, to ensure they conserve resources. It is not necessarily the citizen's responsibility to clean up. The citizen pays taxes to the government to allow the government to pay for the cleanup.
Should I respond?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Pathak.
Actually, if you go to China, the cleaning of road is the responsibility of the persons who live that colony. So, the citizens should have rights and duties both. Now I come to the important point. What I am talking all, they are beyond the scope. The first thing that the government, NGOs and people have to work together. Now we have requirement 1 million, about 130 million houses have no toilets roughly. And you require more than 2 lakh crore for that. So 50,000 boys and girls have to be trained, and one boy has to go only get 13 villages, because you have 6,40,000 villages in the country, and one has to build only 3,000 toilets in 5 years. So one boy can go in 13 villages in 5 years. It's not a problem. Now the finance will come from the beneficiary, from the government, from the banks, and also from the donors. So money is not also a problem. The problem is that you will have to, like me, you have to train 50,000 boys and girls in the villages, and they can carry forward. There is a missing link in the government and the public. We have done so far with the government close cooperation and collaboration. The government, the Congress party government also helped a lot. Indira ji helped the solar a lot. Rajiv ji self. That is not the question. The question is that Jairam Ramesh did.
Right.
Raghuvansh Prasad did. But the question is, they lacked the design, how to implement the program.
Okay.
Jairam Ramesh could not also solve the problem. So what is saying? That because Prime Minister has decided, it has given a call to the entire nation.
In 5 years, yeah.
So yes, that is possible 100%. If the government is desirous to take my design, 100% I assure you, without fail, it can be done. No problem in implementation. But who will do? Who are the missionaries? Maybe you see the Christian mission, or a Hindu mission,
right,
or a Islam, Buddhist, or let me complete. They all have missionaries.
Okay.
Sanitation is a religion. So
right,
you need missionaries to be trained large scale, and
right,
they
Mr.
will change the society. But
right, Mr. Pathak, we're actually completely out of time. We're completely out of time on this discussion, but there's lots more actually that we will be discussing on this in the course of the next few months, few years, as the campaign actually hits the ground running as we speak, with the Prime Minister himself today, the ministers Foreign Secretary, other government secretaries, all picking up the broom and doing their bit. Certainly a very good start to what is going to be an attempt to create consciousness amongst all of us to clean up the system. But we'll have to see where and how successful this campaign really is. Lots of challenges ahead as well for it. That's all we have time for on this debate tonight. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll actually get you excerpts